Hello guys, I hope you're having a great day. For our second video, I will be answering your question. Should our organization secure an environmental compliance certificate or certificate of non-coverage? Since we are talking about organizations here in the Philippines, we will be using the EMB Memorandum Circular 005-2014, which is the revised guidelines for coverage, screening, and standard requirements under the Philippine Environmental Impact Statement System. How would I know whether our organization needs to secure ECC or CNC? Environmental Compliance Certificate shall be secured if the organization falls under the scope of PEISS. Certificate of non-coverage shall be secured if the organization is not covered by the PEISS. Note that the ECC or CNC shall be secured before starting the project. For example, you wanted to operate or establish a manufacturing company. You shall secure an ECC or CNC first before starting the operation. Otherwise, this will be considered as a violation under the PEISS. Before continuing, it is crucial that you get familiarized with Annex A or the project thresholds for coverage, screening, and categorization of the mentioned guidelines. Annex A is a matrix used to determine if your project will be needing an environmental compliance certificate or not. Let us discuss the steps on how to categorize our project. The first step is to determine if the project is considered environmentally critical project as per PEISS. The following are included in the said guidelines. Number 1, the heavy industries such as non-ferrous metal industries, iron and steel mills, petroleum and petrochemical industries. Number 2, the resource extractive industries such as mining and quarrying projects, forestry projects, dikes for and fish pond development projects, infrastructure projects such as dams, power plants, reclamation projects, and roads and bridge. Lastly is the golf course projects. So if your project falls under the aforementioned categories, your project is automatically considered as Category A or environmentally critical project. Note that in this step, the project itself is environmentally critical. So, does it mean that you need to secure ECC? Not really. You still need to check its coverage on Annex A. This will determine if your project will be retained as Category A or will be downgraded as Category B. So further explanation regarding this will be found on the step 3. If your project did not fall under Category A, the second step is to determine if the project is within the environmentally critical area as defined by PEISS. There are 12 areas that are considered to be environmentally critical. First are the areas declared by law as national parks, watershed, reserves, wildlife preserves, and sanctuaries. Second, areas set aside as aesthetic potential tourist spots, and so on and so forth. Let's skip some of this part since this can be completely seen on EMB MC 005-2014. Take note that the Philippines is an island country, surrounded by water bodies, and water bodies are categorized as one of the environmentally critical areas. To simplify it, all of the projects within the Philippine island are considered as a project within environmentally critical area, which makes all projects initially fall under Category B. So, does it mean that all of the projects within the Philippines shall secure an ECC? Not really. You need to check its coverage on Annex A to determine if your project will remain as Category B or will be downgraded as Category D. Further explanation will be found on Step 3. Now that you have already determined whether your project is under Category A or Category B, let's use the Annex A of the EMB Memorandum Circular 005-2014. despite the fact that your project is located on environmentally critical area or considered as environmentally critical project. This is a guide to determine if your project will be downgraded to Category D, wherein Certificate of Non-Coverage will be secured instead of ECC. Otherwise, the project is retained as Category A or Category B. For example, your project is a smelting plant that produces more than 15,000 metric tons annually. Do you need to secure an ECC or CNC? Look at the table. Search for the type of project or industry you're in. Then, check the project size parameter where your output falls in. Based on the table, smelting plants that has an annual output of more than 15,000 metric tons falls under Category A, hence indicating that you need to secure an ECC. What if the annual production is less than 200 metric tons? Look at the table again. It would fall under Category D, which means that your organization may secure a CNC only. Easy, right? Don't worry. We will be having a workshop regarding this on the next part of this video. We have mentioned Category A, Category B, and Category D. What about Category C? Category C is only applicable for projects that intend to enhance the quality of the environment or resolve the existing environmental problems. The best example for this is the Manila Bay Rehabilitation Program. To summarize and for your better understanding, Category A is environmentally critical project, so ECC is required. Category B is an environmentally critical area, either ECC or CNC is required. Category C intends for environmental quality enhancement, thus no permitting requirement. Lastly, the Category D will be defined on the Annex A of PEISS guidelines. Basically, Category D needs CNC. In addition to all of our discussions, there are other things to consider if the project is required to secure ECC or CNC. Number 1, use of chemicals under Chemical Control Order or CCO such as cyanide. Number 2, use of chemical under Priority Chemical List such as formaldehyde. Lastly is the volume of hazardous waste produced. But don't worry, this will still be determined using the Annex A. Our discussion is finally done. We will be proceeding to the most exciting part of this video. Let's do a little bit of practice here. Scenario 1. Company XYZ will build a petroleum refinery which will produce 38,000 barrels of finished products annually. The question is, which category will XYZ fall? And what will its requirement be? ECC or CNC? Look at Annex A to determine the answer. You can pause the video for a while and look for the answer. What is your answer? Yes, correct. It falls under Category A, and Company XYZ is required to secure an ECC. For our second scenario, ABC Semiconductor Manufacturing will produce 5,000 metric tons of metal-based products. The project will not involve the use of PCL and CCO. Question: which category will ABC fall? What will its requirements be? ECC or CNC? Pause the video and look at Annex A to determine the answer. What is your answer? Yup! Company ABC falls under Category D, which is not covered by PEISS, and ABC may secure CNC. Our last scenario is JKL Realty Development Incorporated intends to develop an 18-hole golf course and approximately 67 hectares of land in Southern Leyte. Question: which category will JKL fall? What will its requirements be? ECC or CNC? Pause the video and look at the Annex A to determine the answer. What is your answer? Awesome! That's correct. Company JKL falls under Category A and is required to secure ECC. That's all for our practice. I hope you've enjoyed it. But before we finally end this video, I would like to share some PCO side notes and tips. First, to avoid violations and penalties, ensure that you have the correct permit. Next, your generated output will be based on your estimate. Since you will be having a project proposal, it is crucial that the information regarding your target annual output will be determined by you, the proponent. Hence, you should add a little allowance to your estimated annual output in case your operations volume suddenly increases. Lastly, not being covered by ECC does not mean that you will no longer need to comply with other environmental laws, such as securing discharge permit, permit to operate, generator's ID, and so on and so forth. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I was able to share some of my knowledge well. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to drop a comment regarding the topics you would like me to discuss. See you till our next video. Goodbye!